Today we're going to replace the trigger in a Sig Sauer P938 and P238. Today we're going to be using a set of needle nose, a 3/32 Allen wrench, about a 3/16 flat dowel punch, and a 1/16 dowel punch, and a small flathead screwdriver, and a punch block. First thing you want to do, clear the weapon, remove the slide. First you're going to remove the slide stop by depressing it on the back side. You can remove the slide and the barrel assembly. Next we want to go ahead and remove the grips. From there, we would like to remove the magazine release. Doing this, you want to stick your screwdriver in the slot, press out about halfway, and turn it counterclockwise. That'll release it, and you can then pop it out. Next, what we want to do is tap out the main pin that holds the trigger in place. Bigger hammer. Next, what we're going to do is pull down on the trigger spur, or trigger bar I should say, and rotate up the trigger assembly. This is kind of a tricky little deal that you got to work around in here to pull down and get it all out at the same time. Next thing you're going to want to do, so you don't lose it during this, is pull out the disconnector and set it aside. Next, we're going to remove the drawbar, the hammer bar, or the trigger bar from the actual trigger. Take your 1/16 inch dowel pin, better hammer, and knock that through. Take your new trigger. Don't forget to take the spring out of the old trigger. Take the new trigger and start your roll pin in the hole by holding it with a pair of needle nose and just barely tapping it to get it started. Next, install the spring from the bottom, and this is the tricky part, and usually I need a hand doing this. So what we want to do is we want to insert the trigger bar underneath the spring. The spring sits down in there and you can see it. You want to get it up here, start, and push. Once you push it into place, your trusty assistant will have the 1/8 inch dowel pin and the hammer, and they will then knock it into place. Thank you. Next, we are going to reinstall the disconnector. The disconnector looks almost the same on both sides, but it's not. The top side is flat, the bottom side has a raised portion at the bottom. The raised portion goes under and slides into the slot. From there, we want to insert the trigger with the trigger bar on it, and then this is a fairly tricky way of doing things, but you have to rotate the trigger foot, or the main part of the trigger, and at the same time move the trigger bar up into the gap over here, and then pushing it back, you can then slide it into place. I've made it look easy. Sometimes it can be a lot harder. Take your 1/16 inch dowel pin, or dowel driver, and locate your hole for your pin. Then take your pin, remove the punch, insert the pin, a couple light taps, don't take it all the way down, and then finish it off with the drip punch. Alright, next, reinsert the magazine release. Again, pushing the mag release about halfway out, and then turning the screw clockwise to snap back in. After this, put your grips back on. Get it grip. Reinstall your slide, pushing down the bar, and insert your slide stop through the barrel link. Make sure your barrel link is set properly. Do not scratch the surface of that with the bottom. Bring it over, set it into place slightly. Pull this back until your groove matches where your slide stop is. And insert. Done.